Hello everyone, in today's video I'm going to be telling you the secrets on how to master Infinity by looking over at each ability all the way to PvP. Hope you guys enjoy, and make sure to join our Roblox group and Discord server, both linked in the description. So, there's a total of 5 abilities that come with the Infinity suit, more than any other in the game. And with these dynamic abilities you can harness, comes a lot of potential that can be wasted if you don't know how to use them. So first, we're going to look at what each ability does and how it works. First is Reality Blast. It works similarly to the Scepter Blast and the Mjolnir Blast, dealing 125 damage to bandits with a max kill streak and 437.5 when you charge it up. For PvP, you have to have an 86% kill streak or higher in order to one-shot players when you charge it up. Next is Warp Punch. It teleports you to a nearby bandit and deals 126 damage at a max kill streak. It's good for PvP as it stuns your opponent for a bit, like how Sonic Blast does. Alright, so now we are on Power Beam. It's similar to the Uni Beam as it deals the same damage, but there are upsides and downsides to it. The upsides are that it has a longer duration, meaning that you can use it for longer than a Uni Beam. And the downsides are that it doesn't have as good range as the Uni Beam, meaning that you can't hit bandits with it as far away as you would with Uni Beam. Next is Cool Meteor. This is an incredibly powerful ability as it drops the meteor at the place where you want it to go. And to be a bit less vague, when you use it, it destroys nearby structures and bandits, making it easier to clear out outposts. When you use it, it has a 100-second cooldown, so you're going to have to be a bit careful as to where you use it. And for last, we have Snap. For you to use it, you must have all the other abilities equipped, otherwise it won't appear on your hotbar. It has a 60-second cooldown and kills 6 bandits / players within its range. You should only use this ability at the start of clearing outposts, and you don't want to use it if you've dropped a meteor. You can kill people with it, but it's highly regarded as unskillful and cheating to most people, so I don't suggest you doing it. Alright, so now that you know the basics of the abilities, I think it's time to show and tell you all the details you need to know about Snap and not what to do with it, as knowing how to use it makes grinding money quicker. So not a lot of people know about this, but if you can see the little tag above the bandits, it means that it's in range of Snap. It means that if you can see the red dot above the bandit's head and you use Snap, only the bandits that have the red dots will be killed, as they're the only ones in range of Snap. This also works with players that aren't rogue, as the blue and yellow dots above their heads work the same way as the bandits' red dots do. But as I said earlier, don't go rogue and start snapping players, because then that just indicates you're a loser. Just saying. Now, knowing where to use Snap is also very important, because then it makes grinding money more efficient. You should only want to use Snap on outposts that have 20 or more bandits. Any outpost that has 10 or less only gives 750 cash, including the money they get from bandits that varies depending on how many there are, and using Snap on them will basically be a waste, so don't do it. You don't want to use Snap at Sawmill because you're always going to be using the meteor there. Don't use Snap if you're grinding with someone else and they've used their Snap before you. Only use Snap once at an outpost. If Snap is on cooldown when you enter an outpost, don't bother waiting for it to end, as you'll just waste time. And lastly, don't use Snap when there's like 3 bandits left. So many of my friends do it and it annoys me so much because they basically waste it in doing that, so just don't do it. So now that you know everything about the Snap ability, I might as well do the same thing for Cool Meteor. It's pretty simple. I'm just going to be showing you where to use it, but it's still really important to know, so stick around. So for Sawmill, it's in between the 2 small buildings and the big building. This will destroy all 3 buildings, making you be able to clear the outpost in mere seconds. For Church, it's right in front of the church building and slightly to the right of it. Dropping it there will destroy the church and the building to the right of it. For Windmill, it's between the central house and the building facing east to it. This will destroy the 2 buildings, exposing basically all the bandits that are hiding in and around them. For Pool, it's between the 2 buildings facing each other, as you can see on the screen. This will destroy the 2 buildings. And for Marina, it's the biggest building on the north side of the outpost. This will destroy the building, exposing the 4 bandits that are hiding in or around it. Now, from scale to best to worst, Sawmill is the best overall, second is Church, third is Windmill, fourth is Marina, and the worst place is Pool. Even though some places aren't as worth it to use a meteor at, these 5 outposts all benefit massively for using it. So now that we've covered the two main abilities, Core Meteor and Snap, we're now going to deeply analyse the other abilities, that being Warp Punch, Reality Blast and Power Beam. Knowing how to use these abilities alongside the Meteor and Snap is so valuable, and it will make you grind 10 times better. So I suggest you stay around for this part. Reality Blast is fairly simple compared to the other abilities, and you may even say that it's the worst ability out of all three of them. But that's not true. Far from it. It's actually the most vital ability out of all three abilities. And the first reason as to why is that it's basically got no cooldown. It only has a half a second cooldown if you use it up normally. And if you charge up the repulsor like this twice, it'll have a 2-second cooldown. And the fact that the repulsor itself has 4 charges makes it pretty viable and easy to use. And the second reason is its strength. Now, to be a bit more precise, I mean how much damage it does. It one-shots any normal bandits and snipers and 2-taps the elites, shotgunners and anti-tanks. The base damage is 125 damage and the charge repulsor is 437.6. But that increases to 250 and 875 when you have the attack multiplier from helicopters. The third reason is its range. The Reality Blast has quite the far reach when it comes down to hitting targets from far distances. There's a reason why it's called the basic ranged attack. It can hit bandits from far away, making it easy to grind, as you don't need to move as much. It is also very viable for mid-air attacks on bandits, as you can stay high up in the sky, hit them and keep the momentum going. And the fourth and final reason is that you need it for Snap. If you thought I was going to unveil a revolutionary thing, then you're just wrong. Sorry. So, overall, the Reality Blast is pretty balanced, but can the same be said for Warp Punch? Warp Punch is a powerful ability that shreds through players and bandits alike. It's mainly used for making grinding easier by teleporting you to one bandit after the other in quick succession, and getting to the bandits that are in quite peculiar places. It is also utilised in PvP for stunning opponents and ending fights quick with its insane 26 damage per hit. A weird thing about Warp Punch is that even at max kill streak, it doesn't completely kill an elite. So whenever you Warp Punch an elite, make sure to look at the direction the bandit went, switch to your repulsor and shoot them while they're still in the air. With enough practice you'll get used to it. And something you don't want to do is Warp Punching bandits when they're right in front of you. Far too many new people to Infinity make this mistake and they essentially waste the ability. Remember that Warp Punch only has 4 charges, so knowing when to use them is vital to playing with all the Infinity abilities efficiently. And for last we have the Power Beam. This ability is great with dealing bandits, as its long duration and damage makes it a profound weapon to have. Even if you have a low kill streak, it's still really powerful. You mainly want to use this for when you are attacking shotgunners, anti-tanks and elites, as the Reality Blast isn't as effective at killing them as the Power Beam is. It's also good for when you use up all of your Reality Blast charges, and good for dealing with large amounts of bandits at once. It deals at 75 damage if you have a max kill streak, and does 150 damage when you have an attack multiplier from helicopters. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the downside to this is that it doesn't have a very long range, so you have to get a bit closer to bandits if you want to hit them. It's alright for PvP, but you kinda need to stun them with Warp Punch if you want to get good damage on them because of the short range it has. Alright, so now that you know everything about all the abilities, I think we're ready to go into detail on PvP. I might make a PvP after this, going into more detail about the other abilities and techniques, but for today we're just going to go over how to PvP with the Infinity abilities equipped. So, you want to prioritize your abilities like so. Reality Blast, Warp Punch, Power Beam, and yeah, that's it. You don't want to use Snap and Meteor. You want to use your Reality Blast the most, because oftentimes the Warp Punch won't connect and the Power Beam doesn't have enough range. When you go to try and hit your opponent, try to slow down, enough to be able to track them, but not too slow that you become easy to hit. If you charge up your repulsor to shoot, make sure to Sonic Boom right after. This will lower your chances of getting hit back. If your opponent is trying to hit you whilst you're going Sonic Boom, make sure that your movement is erratic and unpredictable so it becomes harder to hit. And if you can, you can get them with a warp punch if they're sitting still, stunning them and giving you the advantage. If you manage to warp punch them, you should apply more damage to them by spamming more warp punches, using Power Beam, or time your repulsor charge so as soon as they get back up, you hit them with a powerful blow. If your opponent warp punches you, you can either wait there for the stunning effect to end, or spam the jump button or spacebar to go up, making it harder to hit while stunned. If someone goes invisible while they're fighting you, try to find a rough spot as to where they are and utilize the warp punch to find them. Now, that may have sounded like a lot, but that's fine. You just need to practice with it for a while and you'll get the hang of it eventually. Took me a couple weeks to get the gist of the basics of Infinity when I got it. Also, another thing I'd like to mention is that you can block someone from snapping you with the Bubble Shield, basically meaning that Bubble Shield, while it's active, negates the effects of snap and protects you from turning into dust. Alright, so now that you know everything about Infinity, you may now be wondering how to make money fast using it. So up on the screen now is a video on how to make 700k in 1 hour, so you can get all of the suits in the game if you haven't already, or get on the money leaderboard, and the PvP video will also be up on the screen if I've uploaded it. If I haven't, then you'll just have to wait. Once again, join the Roblox group to get access to a free private server and join a Discord server, links in the description. And also while you're at it, you might as well like and subscribe to the channel. This video is the first that I've done in this format, so forgive me if I've made any mistakes. I'll improve on them as time goes on. Love you all and catch you later.